Hey everybody, it is Callus. Welcome to the final set, sort of Callus Invitational 5 Round 1. More on that in the next video. But in the meantime, let's check out this set. This is one of my favorite pairings of the round. These are two players that are both really good. Clearly, these are two of the top half, if not top 10 people in the field. And it's unfortunate that they get paired in round 1, especially because they both do have a very similar play style, in my opinion. But that's how RNG goes sometimes, and we're in for a treat as the viewers with M-Dragon and Umbry playing on 2-0 Nanda. Like I said, these are two players who both lean towards TSS, and yeah, I don't know what that necessarily translates to as far as these matches, if we're going to see 2 or 3 mirror matches here, but I don't know, maybe one of them will just be the better player, or maybe one of them will just diversify themselves. I'm truly intrigued by this matchup no matter how it goes, and I'm also eager to move on to round 2, as I'm sure you guys are as well. So let's wrap up round 1 and move along. Here is game 1 in the best of 3 between M-Dragon and Umbry. Like I said, Dragon's on the bottom, 2-0 Nanda, that's Umbry, she is on the top. So, Zapdos on Celebi after some switching. We have Fori coming in via a switch, via a baton pass. Hidden Power Fire coming down, and counter. Wow, that's a soul read. I don't know how you play around HP Fire there, but sniffed it out, got the counter off, killed the bee. Now the trade-off, because of the Dugtrio Revenge kill there, is that Umbry did not manage to get Alaris spikes down, which could matter later on. However, trading Fori for Celebi, just Mon for Mon, is certainly a good trade. So overall, I guess it depends on how reliant on spikes Umbry's team is. If it's not a huge deal that she didn't get a lair down, then that was obviously a really good trade. And if it does matter that she didn't get a lair down, then it was still probably at least an even, if not still a positive trade, even if it's not as amazing as it otherwise would be. So Dragon has just shown that he's a Zapdug team, which is a very common, very powerful duo. And then we have a Coon coming in for the first time. 2 unrevealeds for both players. Coon combining up here, immediately roared out by the Pert. That's going to drag out a new previously unrevealed Pokemon, Jirachi for M-Dragon, getting the para on Umbry Swampert right away. And then EQ coming back, leaving Rachi at 53%. Burnt Zapdos coming in on a full para, which is where you want to be. It's going to give an opportunity for a prediction or a rest if it happens to have that. But he immediately BP's out, and he opts for the Dugtrio against the paralyzed Zapdos of Umbry. Does go for the Rock Slide into the Zapdos, doesn't try to get cute and click EQ. It would have done decent damage, actually, against the Gengar had he connected with that, but unfortunately Dragon did miss the 90-10 there. However, Umbry is going to whiff on the EQ on M-Dragon's own Gengar, which gives him a free switch. His full team now revealed, and it's going to be T-Tower from Umbry surviving just barely the Earthquake and getting a crit crunch on the way back, which is relevant because a non-critical hit there has no chance of killing the Dugtrio. So relevant hacks there favoring Umbry, letting her kill the Dugtrio that she otherwise was not going to. And that's going to leave us now in a 5-4 with Umbry in the lead. So now she's going to opt to Wish Up, trying to pass that to Zapdos here, which is going to be successful. M-Dragon also opting to Wish Up, see if Rachi keeps it for himself or passes it along. Is going to choose to keep it. That Body Slam, pathetic damage there at 19%, and that crit is going to offset the Wish for the Zapdos. Full power coming down. And Wish again. Now Body Slam again, why not? Slowly but surely getting there. But there is the rest to completely get rid of any chip damage that had been done. And of course the status problem, the paralysis as well, is no longer present. Here's yet another Wish for Dragon, has the ability to pass that, and does exactly that. Going to pass it to his own Zapdos. It's still burnt, but he's actually going to get roared out in the sleep. And that's going to prevent the Wish from being passed to Zapdos. Rachi's going to receive his own Wish, and he did not need it. So M-Dragon is now going to try this again as the Zapdos wakes for Umbry. T-Bolt coming down and Body Slam again. The damage irrelevant, but fishing for the 60-40 para and finds it. Wish again. And T-Bolt, sure. Eventually, if they keep doing this, Umbry might find her own para. Fire Punch, which does even less than Body Slam. Now T-Bolt again, and wishes Rachi back to full health. Got 11 of those left. Make that 10 after this one. Full power kicking in against Umbry Zapdos here. Trying to pass to Gar. And it's going to come in on a T-Bolt, take exactly 50%, and heal for exactly 50% with Wish. How convenient. So Gengar in at basically full health, but is going to double back, and we're going to end up with a Rachi on the Bliss, which I will note, this Blissey seems like a very difficult Pokemon for M-Dragon to remove now that the Dugtrio is down. It looks very much like his team is reliant on Dugtrio removing Blissey. Now, the Gengar could have Explosion, but other than that, it looks like the Blissey's really tough for M-Dragon to get through. Like I said, he built this team, it looks like, very much expecting Dugtrio to eat Bliss. And if it doesn't, I'm not sure what the backup plan is. If he does have Boom, which he may or may not, because like I said, might be relying on Dougie, so maybe he doesn't feel like he needs Boom. But if he does have Boom, he did miss the opportunity there. He simply switched out, and Bliss stayed in and went for Wish, so could have gone for it there and probably killed her, but opted for a different route. We're now Calm Minding with Coon behind a sub, but it is short-lived as it is roared out by the Zapdos. Roar has been very good for Umbry this game. And again, we have a potential nurse moment here as Gengar staring down Bliss at 60%. Prime time to blow, but does not. Soft-boiled coming down for Bliss as Jirachi comes in yet again. This one may be grindy, but I'm having a hard time seeing M-Dragon winning. Not only is he down just flat out 5-4 right now, but how do you remove the Bliss if you're M-Dragon? The Coon can and eventually would beat the Bliss one-on-one, but the problem is that the Zapdos is very safe against the Bliss, or against the Coon rather, can take a Surf or two no problem, can rest away the status problems, yada yada, and can simply roar it away when it's behind a substitute. Isn't really all that concerned. Dragon is going to get rid of the Sand, opting for Rain Dance, which is interesting. It's got to just be to support the Coon. And now Ice Punch coming down for Gar has shown only Ice Punch and Will-O-Wisp, so still unclear if it has Boom or not. Will-O-Wisp gets avoided, and then S-Toss is simply an over-prediction, and/or the Blissey can't actually touch the Gar. It's shown Wish, soft-boiled S-Toss, so yeah, maybe the last move is counter, perhaps. I mean, if it were Ice Beam, she would go for that. If it were T-Wave, she would go for that. So maybe it's last move Toxic and/or counter, which is why she seemingly can't do anything at all into the Gengar. And there's a dead Zapdos for Dragon. Leaves us in a 5-3 situation. Umbry has been ahead for most of the game, and it seems like she still is. Will-O-Wisp and Fire Punch respectively. Burn on Gar, taking its toll. Fire Punch fishing for another burn, 20% chance of finding it, but doesn't. 60-40 on the Para, doesn't find that either. And the Wish going to Gar. Eats a Fire Punch pretty well. It's going to be a pretty bulky Gar. 16% is nothing. Is still burnt, but is nevertheless healthy. Misses a Will-O-Wisp on Rachi, which would have been relevant there, but doesn't get there on the 75-25. In fact, doesn't get there twice on the 75-25. Not a well-trained Gengar. Umbry needs to spend more time with her Ghost. Finally, on the third time, Will-O-Wisp is going to connect. So Rachi now burnt, and those body slams now a complete non-threat to Blissey and Zapdos. They were hardly a threat before. Now they might as well be a non-factor. They're just a really bad Thunder Wave at this point. And now Bliss shows their last move, which, as I suspected, is something that can't touch the Gar. She can't touch the Gengar at all with S-Toss Toxic and 2 recovery moves, which is why she was just sitting there doing nothing against it. Toxic did land on the Coon, which is absolutely devastating because being a sub-Coon, I mean, it could have rest, but it's not super likely. The only set that has both is Calm Mind Surf, Calm Mind Surf, Rest, and Sub, which it could be. But if it's not that set, this game is like basically over. And Dragon's going to concede at this point. I don't even think that's premature. Gar's burnt. Rachi's burnt. Coon is toxic and might not even have rest. I mean, and you just can't kill the Blissey. How are you winning this game? I think the answer is you can't. I think M-Dragon is right to concede here. This one not overly close. Umbry in the lead for the good majority of it, and she does indeed close it out without too much issue. So Umbry with a 1-0 lead, looking for the nice, clean 2-0 beatdown of M-Dragon, the second-place finisher in the original CALLOUS Invitational all those years ago. We'll see if she could pull it off or if Dragon sends us to a pivotal Game 3. Let's get to it. Here's Game 2. Players in the same positions. Dragon on the bottom. Umbry as 2-0 Nanda on the top. The two most common leads in the tier. Zapdos and Tar. One of them stays in, one doesn't. Rock Slide connects with a rock-resisting Metagross, who of note is not gaining lefties. Goes straight for Boom and hits Irachi. Doesn't kill, but certainly the follow-up Dugtrio will. So twice in a row, M-Dragon has opted for the Zap Dug strategy. Skarm is going to be the follow-up. And Zapdos comes back in on it after she lays a layer of spikes. So now a spinner comes in, a good spinner into Zapdos because it doesn't care about Thunderbolt at all. It's Claydol. Doubles back though just in case he stays in for Hidden Power, which is exactly what happens. Obviously hitting Bliss, we don't know if it's going to be Grass or Ice. Umbry not deviating very far from what I would expect from her. She likes these bulky TSS teams, doesn't go too far away from that. That's what she's got again. Good fortune strikes her as she immediately freezes Tyranitar on the first Ice Beam. Goes for Focus Punch, would have hit Milo for a decent chunk, but unfortunately for her, or for him rather, the poison remains. God, I can't narrate tonight. I meant the freeze remains, but there is a poison on the next turn. Toxic on Zapdos. Alright, so there's BP. To Regice from Dragon. Okay, I'll be honest, not what I was expecting. This is actually the second Regice use of the tour, which is more Regice use than I thought there would probably be. But here it is. There's a T-Wave and an EQ respectively. M-Dragon has one opportunity to thaw and do some damage here. Here's Skarm, and the thaw doesn't come. Maybe it'll have another chance against Skarm, who probably can't kill it. And she's going to go for layer number 2 of Spikes. Another opportunity to thaw, layer number 3 of Spikes. And finally the thaw happens and a Focus Punch. But man, that tower was frozen for a hot minute. And like I said, it occurred on the very first Ice Beam, which is rather unlucky. However, it doesn't look like Umbry has a fantastic switch into a Focus Punch tower. You can go to Claydol, but you risk him switching it up and going for HP Bug. And I mean, the best thing that she seems to have is Milo, who takes 40% from that. Here's another Focus Punch attempt on the recover. Good prediction for Dragon. Does even more this time, 44. It looks like a crit from full health would not kill, but keeping the pressure on nevertheless. And this whole time, M-Dragon's T-Tower that was in the red has leftied itself back up and is now back in the green and goes again for Focus Punch before Umbry finally calls it and goes for Surf. So down that goes, leaving us in a 5-4 situation with Umbry in the lead. Here's the follow-up Poison Zapdos to force out the Milo. Goes for Hidden Power in case the Claydol comes in, but it does not. It's just the Bliss. BP, straight to Doug. Dangerous play, but Umbry's going to go for Soft Boiled. I'm not sure why she didn't go for Ice Beam there. It seems like an overly conservative Soft Boiled. Could have just beamed and nailed the Dugtrio on the way in. Don't think I love that play for Umbry, but she's so far in the lead that it might not matter. 5-3 lead, very similar to the previous game. Focus Punch coming down, nailing T-Tar for the one-hit KO from M-Dragon's Gengar. That's one way to catch up. The game just got a lot closer, now 4-3, but M-Dragon's still behind. Psychic happening from Doll, nailing the already poisoned Zapdos here. And there's Skarm. M-Dragon Thunderbolts into the Doll, gets another prediction right. Now Blissey comes in, foddered off the Skarm here. This is going to allow Bliss to get a Soft Boiled off. Nothing M-Dragon can do to prevent it, unless he wants to fish for a crit, which odds aren't with him, but you got to do what you got to do. Garon Bliss, and Hidden Power Grass coming down. M-Dragon out-predicting Umbry repeatedly in this late game and trying to claw back in a game that it feels like he's been behind the whole time. Got a nice Hidden Power off, aimed at the Bliss, and correctly hitting the Milo on the switch in. And we have our first nurse moment of CALLOUS Invitational. Gengar blowing in the nurse's face. Feels so good. Our first nurse moment of CALLOUS Invitational as Gengar blows on Blissey's face, leaving us in a 2-2 situation. M-Dragon has done well to come back in this game. He's been behind seemingly the whole time. Catches a nice power on the Milo here. And in comes the Doll. Dragon not able to snipe that with the Ice Beam. But Regice here is actually quite dangerous. The Bolt Beam combination, very good against these pokes. Unfortunately, though, the Doll is faster, and it doesn't look like Regice can live another Earthquake. Indeed, it can't, certainly with a crit. But the crit didn't matter there. It's going to be on the Zapdos to try to clean it up. Needs to kill both pokes for Umbry before succumbing to its own poison. Hidden power there seems to be grass. Obviously, it wouldn't be ice. Lucky damage roll there may have been really relevant. And is able to, with a crit, kill the Doll as well. Not clear on either of those. I don't know what the roll was necessarily against the Milo. But if the Milo has just 1% more, then it's one more turn of poison for the Zapdos. And I think Dragon loses, so that really came down to a damage roll. And then with the Claydol there, it's the same deal. I don't know what the roll would have been. I think you have a good chance to kill there, but I don't think it's guaranteed. But obviously with the critical hit, there's no chance the Claydol can survive. It's definitely possible. M-Dragon got a little bit lucky in that late game with rolls in both cases, but without knowing his exact EVs, I'm not sure. Either way, barely, like I said, one turn away from defeat. M-Dragon is somehow going to win this game and send us to a Game 3. Felt like Umbry was ahead for the large majority of that, but Dragon found a way back, so a third game will decide it. And here is that third game. We'll switch sides for continuity for the third and final time. M-Dragon on the bottom, Umbry 2-0 Nanda on the top. Meta on Tower becomes meta on Star, and an immediate attack raise for Dragon after connecting with turn 1 Mash. There's a T-Wave, and that's a big Earthquake, 55% after the attack raise. That's either a really bulky Star, which makes sense when you have T-Wave, or not a completely offensive meta, perhaps something like a Protect meta. Star fishing for full paras with repeated recovers here, just waiting for the meta to eventually not attack. And Dragon continues the assault, little by little, getting 5% gains on most of these turns, and obviously fishing for a crit as well. But now a full para does come, and I would expect Umbry to switch out at this point. No, she's going to keep playing this game. She's going to go for a cover again, get the Star back to full, and another full para comes. Switches at this point. I would have done that on the previous turn, but Umbry greedier than I, and was rewarded for it. Gets the Scarm in, gets a lair down, and instantly dies after doing so to what is presumably a Magnet Magneton from Dragon, who has deviated this time from Zapdug, which he brought in both previous games. Umbry, as always, opting for TSS. That seems to be about the only thing she plays, but, you know, as much as I like to criticize players who only seem to have one style, like Cyber Odin, Umbry is one of those players who can really get away with it. Her results this year and last year consistently really good. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's narrow, but it works. There's a Boom connecting with the Star. That's our double knockout, leaving us in 5-4. 2 unrevealeds for both. Make that 2 and 1 respectively. Substitute happening for Heracross here as Aerodactyl comes in. Hidden power, almost certainly flying. And substitute again, presumably going down to a berry. And yes, it is a Salic berry here. That's going to make him faster. He's going to land Megahorn, but it won't kill. And now, now the Aerodactyl in trouble if it doesn't get out of the way. Megahorn unluckily missing for Dragon there. That would have hit meta for a good amount. It is neutral damage. Hits the next one, but hitting the first one or not is the difference between killing or not. At least he could follow up with the Magneton here. Protect is not going to save it from a Magnet Thunderbolt. Still going to die. 50-50 Protect makes it a little more interesting, but I still think it'll die. And it does. So that'll leave us in a 3-4 situation with Umbry behind. Swampert coming in and met with Fire Blast immediately. Obviously has to be careful of Hidden Power Grass. That burn didn't help either. Lucky 10% shot there. Celebi back in. And Toxic missing for Dragon. Catching some poor hacks at the end at a pretty bad time since this is Game 3. Hidden Power Grass puts the Pert out of its misery, lands us in a 3-3. Dragon shows one of his 2 hidden pokes. It's immense. And Mence is not gaining lefties, looking like a choice bander here, but he makes the wrong call in going for hidden power flying. Brick Break or Earthquake would have nailed him here, but he's punished severely by getting hit with Pursuit. If that happens one more time, that's going to be a dead Salamence. Last poke lax shown for Dragon, all cards on the table for both players. There's the curse for Dragon as Celebi comes in. It has shown Leech Seed already, so obviously going to opt for that. And going to get hit with a Shadow Ball in doing so. Dragon might go to Mence here, but has to be careful. It would die here should it be sniped by a Psychic on the way in. And Dragon does, in fact, play it safe and simply go for Boom. That's going to result in a trade. And now it's a 50-50 on what move Aerodactyl uses. But M-Dragon gets the better of it and goes for Protect. And now knows that it's going to be Rock Slide. Armed with that information, he opts to stay in, gets a Thunderbolt off on T-Tar, but it's going to survive and have lefties and get out of range of another one. Crunch is the right prediction. That's going to leave Salamence dead, and now the Magneton must win for Dragon, and I don't believe that it can, even if you kill the T-Tar here with a crit, which, in fact, is what happens. There is nothing preventing an Earthquake here. You're not going to protect 15 times in a row or whatever it would have to be. He doesn't even try it, and the Aerodactyl is going to clean it up. It is going to be a 2-1 series victory for Umbry. Like I said, really close match between two of the best players in the tournament without a doubt, and an unfortunate round one pairing. The game's pretty close as a whole. Honestly, it felt like it almost could have been 3-0 for Umbry. I'm really surprised that M-Dragon somehow managed to come back in that game too. But he did, and it delivered, as I figured, a good set between these two. Umbry did not deviate and opted for TSS, as she seems to always do all 3 times, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. She won. So she'll be in the upper bracket, Dragon in the lower bracket. And like I said at the very start of this video, this is kind of sort of the last pairing of round 1. It's supposed to be the last pairing of round 1. But what would a Pokemon tournament be without drama? There was drama, there was a problem, we had to do something. I'll tell you all about it in the next video, but please leave a thumbs up if you liked this video. I'll see you there.